The fire still clung to his clothing long after he tore free of the shattered star yacht. Heat shimmered off the ruptured hull, casting waves of distortion over the metallic sands of Rylos 4. Jace Varen didn't look back. His arms tightened around the coughing girl, her silk-lined dress burned at the edges, her small hands gripping the fabric of his jacket as though it were the last solid thing in the world. Smoke rose behind them in a thick column, the remains of a vessel designed for beauty rather than battle, an Imperial pleasure craft never meant to fall from orbit. But fall it had. Jace half stumbled, half ran until he reached the shelter of a rock outcropping. Only then did he set the girl down gently. She looked up at him with wide amber eyes, an unmistakable mark of the royal bloodline. No ordinary passenger. He knew exactly who she was. The Empress's daughter, Princess Selene of the Solarian throne, protected by fleets, guarded by centuries of tradition, and now saved by a retired cargo hauler who had been in the wrong place at the right time. Her voice broke the moment. "Is my mother safe?" "I don't know," Jace answered honestly, kneeling to her height. "Your escort ship exploded before the crash. We need to get you out of here before anyone else comes looking." Her lips trembled, but she nodded with a bravery that felt too large for a child. She was only 9, and holding more composure than many trained soldiers. Jace activated the beacon clipped to his glove, a civilian distress signal. It wasn't much, but the frontier settlements listened to any cry for help. With luck, they'd reach him before whoever shot the princess's convoy returned to finish the job. Hours later, a rescue shuttle arrived. Medics rushed to the princess, securing her on a stretcher as she insisted Jace stay beside her. Cameras recorded everything. Drones scanned the wreck. Voices rose in overlapping demands. Jace gave his report, concise and calm. Then they thanked him, ushered him aside, and whisked her away toward the capital world. By dusk, he was back on his remote homestead, an aging atmospheric dome on the edge of the desert, where he'd planned to spend the rest of his days under quiet suns. He brewed tea, sat in his worn chair, and let the silence settle. But peace never lasts long for those who interfere in the affairs of emperors. When the perimeter alarm chimed, he rose slowly. 8 armored silhouettes marched toward his dome, their visors glowing blue in the twilight. Imperial soldiers, the elite Ascendant Guard. Not law enforcement, not investigators. These were war-honed warriors who answered directly to the Empress. Jace stepped outside before they could knock. "If you're here to take a statement, I already gave one." The squad captain removed her helmet, revealing a sharp face and eyes that held no warmth. "Jace Varen, by order of the Empress, you are to come with us." "Am I being arrested?" "No," she said. But her tone suggested the distinction mattered little. "The Empress seeks to speak with you in person." Jace hesitated. The easy path was to obey, but a career spent navigating backwater systems had taught him caution. "I'm just a civilian. I didn't do anything except save a child." "Why the royal escort?" The captain's jaw tightened. "Because the child you saved is the heir to half a galaxy, and because you may be the only witness to an act of treason." He met her stare, steady and unflinching. "Then lead the way." The Imperial flagship, Sol's Mercy, dwarfed everything Jace had ever seen. Its golden hull stretched for kilometers, etched with constellations and glowing with shifting solar patterns, a mobile palace built on the bones of a warship. The soldiers escorted him through shimmering corridors until double doors opened into the throne chamber. The Empress stood waiting. Tall, regal, with hair like braided starlight, she wore no crown. She didn't need one. Power radiated from her the way heat radiated from sunlight. Beside her stood Princess Selene, now cleaned and bandaged, offering him a small, hopeful smile. Jace bowed out of instinct more than protocol. "Your Majesty." The Empress approached him with measured steps. "My daughter tells me you carried her from the flames, shielding her with your own body." Jace shrugged. Anyone would have done the same. Incorrect, the Empress said quietly. There were 37 passengers aboard that convoy. Of them, you were the only one who ran toward the wreck. Her gaze sharpened. And you did so, knowing there were enemy ships still in the area. I didn't think about it, he admitted. There was a child screaming. The Empress studied him for a long moment. Too long. He felt like she was reading the timeline of his entire life in the lines on his face. Then she asked the question he hadn't expected. Do you know why the convoy was attacked? Jace frowned. No. You should. Her voice was colder now, because the people responsible were human. That stunned him. Human rebels, but the frontier, not rebels. Her voice dropped. Counselors, advisors, members of the imperial court, men and women with ambition greater than loyalty. They believed the throne should be theirs, and they attempted to start a bloodline extinction. Jace swallowed. And you think I'm involved? No. The Empress stepped closer. I think you are unique. He couldn't hide his confusion. She gestured toward her daughter. Celine trusted you instantly. She has never done that, not even with her tutors or guards. She says when the ship fell, she felt safe when you held her, that you did not hesitate to run into danger for someone you did not know. Jace felt his ears heat. Ma'am, I really don't understand where this is going. The Empress lifted her chin. Loyalty is rare, true courage rarer still. My daughter needs both if she is to inherit the throne. Now he understood and froze. No, he said. If you're asking what I think you're asking, no, I'm no guardian. I'm a retired hauler with worn boots and a patched dome. Princess Celine stepped forward timidly. But you saved me. Jace breathed out hard. Kid, Princess, Celine, I'm not the person to guard royalty. You already have, she whispered. Silence stretched across the throne room like a drawn bowstring. The Empress's eyes softened ever so slightly. I am not ordering you, she said. I am asking. My daughter's life was saved not by a soldier nor a noble, nor a trained protector, but by a human who did what humans do when our backs are to the wall. We lift each other. We stand. We carry. Jace closed his eyes. He remembered flames, smoke, a coughing child clinging to him, terrified, yet trusting, instinct, humanity. When he opened his eyes again, he saw the future, not the quiet one he had planned, but one he might actually be proud of. I'll protect her, he said finally, not because she's a princess, but because she's a kid who deserves to grow up. Princess Celine smiled. The Empress bowed her head in gratitude, and for the first time since the stars had darkened with treachery, hope glimmered in the heart of an empire.